Good evening and welcome to the October 16th, 2024 meeting of the Roseville City Council. Call the meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Roseville's regular City Council meeting. Agendas are available at the end of the staff table or to your right, as well as online on our city's website. All comments from the public should be directed to the City Council and not to any staff member or members of the audience. All speakers must speak from the podium as this meeting is being recorded. Items not appearing on the agenda. Members of the public may address the City Council regarding any item that is not listed on tonight's agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of our City Council. Public comment is limited to 25 minutes, and each speaker will have 3 minutes to make their comments. If the time limitation is reached in the first segment, individuals will have a second opportunity to make their comments and express their concerns to the City Council just prior to council comments at the end of the meeting. The Brown Act does prohibit the City Council from discussing, debating, or taking actions on items that are not listed on the agenda. Items that appear on the agenda, speakers will have 5 minutes to provide input, and the comments should be related to the item. Time will be monitored, and once the red light begins to blink at the podium, we request that the speaker please conclude their comments. The City Council encourages public participations. Lastly, if addressing the City Council tonight, please consider stating your name for the record. Thank you for your civic participation tonight, and welcome to the City of Roseville.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask Councilman Alvord to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start our evening off with presentations and our resolution. Earlier today, I had the opportunity to participate in a celebration and commemoration of our Roseville Housing Authority's 50th anniversary. So I'd like Councilman Mendoza and Councilwoman Rakucci to meet Tricia Isom at the podium and present the city's official resolution. Our housing director, manager, the person who signs the checks.
All right.
Good evening.
So he's first.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, whereas the United States Housing Act of
Tracy, could you just come a little closer to the microphone?
Sure, Mayor.
Thank you.
Whereas the United States Housing Act of 1937 provided for federal housing program initiatives, and therefore the Roseville Housing Authority was established on October 4th, 1974, and began providing rental assistance in August of 1980. Whereas since 1980, the Roseville Housing Authority has been awarded federal funds in the amount of $132,377,000 for rental assistance, with additional federal funds used to administer these programs. And whereas the Roseville Housing Authority provides rental assistance for up to 852 households, the majority of which have a head of household that is elderly or disabled. And whereas the Roseville Housing Authority administers the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, offering an initiative to finding and maintaining employment by creating interest-earning savings accounts when the participant's portion of rent increases due to wages. And whereas since its inception in 1992, 230 families have participated in this valuable program. And whereas since 2014, the Roseville Housing Authority administers the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing, or HUD-VASH, program, offering rental assistance to veterans with the assistance of Veterans Affairs, and has assisted approximately 166 veterans with housing assistance.
Pretty good.
Whereas Roseville Housing Authority created the Landlord Incentive Program in March of 2023, which attracted 50 new property owners in 18 months. This successful program allowed the RHA to house 141 households and increased the lease success rate to 97%. Whereas the Roseville Housing Authority was awarded 20 foster youth incentive vouchers in August of 2024 to be broadened housing choice for the region's foster youth who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Whereas the Roseville Housing Authority has earned the designation of high performer by the Department of Housing and Urban Development for the past 20 years. Whereas Roseville Housing Authority endeavors to enhance the quality of life for Roseville and Rockland residents by effectively administering rental assistance funds and offering opportunities for safe and decent, affordable housing while providing a high level of customer service. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Roseville and that the Housing Authority be congratulated on its 50th anniversary as a valued establishment that has made a tremendous contribution to the Roseville community. Thank you, Tricia. And if you'd like to say a few words. I think we're going to go around you here.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Good evening. As Mayor Haudeshelt said, I'm Tricia Isom. I am the housing manager for the City of Roseville, and I'm also the executive director of the Roseville Housing Authority. So it gets confusing for me as well. I wanted to say it was great to see so many of you at our celebratory lunch this afternoon where we were able to recognize our staff and our local partners. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you to Mayor Haudeshelt for speaking at the lunch today and for your very kind remarks. I really appreciate the recognition from the City Council of the good work that our Roseville Housing Authority staff has done over the last 50 years. And here's to the next 50. So thank you very much.
Tricia, I said a lot earlier today. I want to give Councilman Alvord, Vice Mayor Bernasconi, Councilwoman Rakucci, and Councilmember Mendon's an opportunity to share any thoughts with you.
Roseville leads our whole region in doing it right. And that comes up all the time. We require our builders to do affordable housing as part of the projects. We grant money. We help bring in companies to try to help with housing that is affordable, even though the vast majority is not that cheap. And I think we do a very good job. And I've always, just as a resident, it's really nice to know that we're trying very hard. I know my own children could not afford to rent an apartment in Roseville when they went off on their own. They all had to rent their first apartment outside of the city because it was so expensive for them. And so I know just, there's a lot of need. And then the work you do with people that are about to go homeless or have just recently gone homeless and trying to help provide a place for them to be. And I know that's been a great resource. I think we've all sent people to you before, and it's been wonderful just to hear that they got a home and they didn't end up on the street, or we got them off the street really quick. So thank you for what you do and your whole team. And I thought you did a great job today of congratulating your team because they're, as you mentioned several times, they're the face, they interface with our public and help give real solutions to people. So thank you for what you guys do, your whole team.
Thank you.
Obviously, I've lost my voice, but Tricia, you do an amazing job. You stand on the shoulders of those that came before you. 50 years ago, this was unheard of, and there is still, I think the majority of our residents in our city don't even know that this even exists. But I think that Roseville was way ahead of its time. Congratulations to you. It was great seeing all your team members there who are always working really hard behind the scenes to help those in need. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Rakucci?
I think I'm just really proud of what you do. Roseville started doing affordable housing element in the first specific plans, and so I think we have about 17 specific plans. I'm real proud that we saw a need a long time ago and even made it better. I'm particularly impressed of all your programs, but particularly for the foster youth who are 18 or just got out of school, and all of a sudden they may not have the family support to work with them, and they find out they're alone. And I don't know about other 18-year-olds, but my children weren't ready to go out on their own. And I give this helps the kids and gives them a start. They also gave a real good example. A woman at the afternoon luncheon said how she was an abused person and left that abuse situation. If it wasn't for our program and even gathering in, and what I was going to say, not only do you help, but you work with a lot of different organizations, and you all work together and as teamwork and to make things happen, and you really do. So I'm just happy for our community, and all your people are very insightful, and you're kind, and these people are in very desperate need, and we can help, and that's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Mendoza?
I am always so impressed when you come before us with your updates. In a community like Roseville, it's truly a balancing act to do what you do, given the demographic and just the building makeup of this city. So hats off to you and your team. And just, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, you always make it look so easy. And all of us up here know, and staff knows as well, that it's not. So thank you for making it look easy, and thank you for, truly getting results. I mean, really, we can say all kinds of things that we're doing things, but, the proof is in the pudding. The results that you bring to us and that we see, and the people that we're helping day in and day out, that's really the true story here. It's not how many years or what we're doing, it's how we're doing it and who we're helping. So, you're doing a great job, and like you said, I look forward to 50 more. So thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just share that I was standing outside after the ceremony was over, talking to Dr. Oldham and the folks from HUD, the portfolio manager, and I forgot the title of the other person. They were so appreciative. And they actually said, if we had a higher category than higher performer, Roseville would rank there. And the fact that you had previous folks that were in your position there, right? Danielle Foster came back, and so it is a testament to the deliberative, intentional, and humble. I mean, the fact is, as others have said, that you recognize that you have the privilege of being at the head of something and making a difference in people's lives. Your team has the ability to make the difference in people's lives, whether they be seniors or veterans or, anyway. So thank you for making, thank you for elevating Roseville and doing the work you do. Congratulations.
Thank you for allowing me to do it. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Next, we'll go to public comments on non-agenda items. You already read that, right?
Yes.
You don't need to read that again? All right. So this is an opportunity, and we have 2 speaker cards to make public comments on things that are not on the agenda, and I will do my best. Avrika Varma? And you can grade me on my pronunciation and help me.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members of Roseville, Namaste. My name is Advika Varma, and I am a resident of Roseville. I'm currently a 10th grade student at West Park High School, and I wanted to briefly share about the recent Seva Diwali food donation drive, which started on October 3rd and runs till November 10th. As we approach the winter and holiday season, the need to support those around us is greater than ever. Many in our community are facing food insecurity due to challenges such as food shortages and the rising price of food and living. Seva Diwali is a collective effort to come together and address hunger by donating food to those in need. Diwali, the Festival of Lights, is a time for celebration, unity, and giving back to the community. In this spirit, the Seva Diwali food donation drive, coordinated by the Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, which is a non-profit socio-cultural Hindu organization, has emerged as a meaningful way to serve those in need. Through this initiative, Hindu, Jain, Buddhist, and Sikh dharmic organizations, along with individuals and communities, come together to contribute to a common cause, supporting local food banks, pantries, shelters, and vulnerable populations. The core philosophy, Seva Paramo Dharma, which translates to service to humanity is the highest duty, guides this noble endeavor. During the 4 weeks leading up to Diwali, we focused on collecting non-perishable food items to help address food insecurity. We have served the non-perishable food grains to more than 15 food banks, including Plaster Food Bank and Stacy's Helping Hands, making a total of 8,000 pounds of food donated in the greater Sacramento area. The significance of Seva Diwali goes beyond the festival. It embodies the true spirit of Diwali, lighting up lives not just with lamps, but with compassion and service. While Diwali marks a time of celebration, it is also a moment to remember the less fortunate, especially those struggling to secure their daily meals. Through Seva Diwali, the Hindu community strives to extend the warmth and light of Diwali to all, ensuring no one goes hungry during this season of giving. We invite all the community members to join the food collection drive, and we invite the city council members to join the food donation events in early November, followed by the concluding ceremony. Dhanyavad and thank you.
Next, Prabhakar Maramridi. Help me with that.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, Bruce, the City Council members, and the staff, Namaste. My name is Prabhakar Maram Reddy, and I am proud resident of Roseville. I am speaking here in front of you with heavy heart, deeply concerned about the recent hate-driven attack on the BAPS Sri Swaminarayana Temple in Methar. This incident, where racist and xenophobic messages were spray-painted on the temple's walls and the water lines intentionally damaged, marks the second attack on the Hindu temple in the US in the just past month. It is also the fourth attack in California within the last 10 months. These aren't just random acts of vandalism. For many of us in Hindu community, a temple is not just a worship. It is a center for social gathering, cultural exchange, and spiritual growth. When these sacred spaces are attacked, they send a chilling message that we aren't even safe in the places that matter to us the most. This attack is Hindu phobia, and it threatens the core values we all share: respect, tolerance, and the freedom to practice one's beliefs without fear. The message these hateful acts send is that Hindu Americans, who have been contributing to the social and cultural fabric of this country for decades, don't belong. This is both heartbreaking and deeply unsettling. I am asking the city and the law enforcement to continue to support the investigation into this crime and to ensure that those responsible are held accountable. But beyond that, as a community, we need to come together to stand against this type of intolerance. We have to educate others about the strength and beauty that diversity brings to our society. Our city's diversity is one of our biggest assets. We need to take bold steps that promote understanding, empathy, and ultimately a safer, more inclusive environment for all of us, regardless of our faith or background. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I look forward to hearing about the actions our city will take to prevent further acts of any sort of hate. We would be very happy to engage with the city to educate further on this important and concerning matter. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Others, public comment on non-agenda items? Okay. There'll be a second opportunity late at the end of the evening to do that as well. Next, we'll move to the consent calendar, and I'll request the city clerk to announce the procedures for the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All matters on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be approved by one motion of the City Council. There will be no discussion on consent calendar items unless a member of the City Council, staff, or the public requests that an item be pulled for further discussion. At this time, there's no item being pulled from either staff or the City Council. Is there any member of the public that would like to pull an item? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Mayor. At this time, the City Council will consider items 7.1 through 7.12, 7.14 through 7.21, with the record reflecting that on item 7.13, Vice Mayor Bernasconi will be recusing herself due to the fact that the Roseville City School District is a client of hers. So if I can please have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion on the floor with a second. We'll start our roll call with Vice Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord. Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Haudashelt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks
Motion
very
passes.
much. All right, we'll move to the portion on special requests, reports, and presentations. Item 8.1, Roseville Soccer Complex naming rights, sponsorship agreement, and budget adjustment. And our Parks, Recreation, and Library Manager, Jeff Nearson, and Director Jill Geller.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Mayor Haudashelt, members of the council. As the mayor said, I'm Jill Geller, your Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Director, here tonight with PRL's Recreation Manager, Jeff Nearson, to talk to you about sponsorships for the soccer complex. For the purposes of time and efficiency, we've combined agenda items 8.1 and 8.2 into a single presentation. And we're excited to provide you this information about the complex and seek your approval on 2 sponsorship agreements. At this time, Jeff will provide you some background about the complex.
Well, good evening, council members. You will recall that we had a successful soccer complex groundbreaking on June 8th, 2023. It was very well attended, and there was a high level of excitement throughout the community about this facility. Since that groundbreaking, construction has been ongoing, and I'm happy to say that we are still on track to complete the project in late 2025. Our vision is not simply to build a sports complex where youth and adults come to play. We are creating an experience for our visitors. From the parking lot to the entrance gates to wayfinding to concessions and restrooms to the accessible playground, and of course the fields themselves. We will ensure that every aspect of their visit is a terrific experience from start to finish, an experience that they will long remember and one that they will want to return to. This slide shows the layout of the complex. Note that on this graphic, north is to the left. You'll see 10 lighted synthetic turf rectangle fields, a main pedestrian spine with shade canopies and misting systems, a north and south parking lot totaling approximately 950 parking spaces. This equates to 95 spaces per field, which is at the top end of the recommended parking capacity for this type of complex. 2 plazas with restrooms, shaded picnic areas, concessions, office space, official space, and tournament headquarters space. A universally accessible play area, which will be the destination playground for the entire community. A looped walkway in and around the complex that will help connect the adjacent neighborhood to the high school, Pistachio Park, and Roseville's larger trail system. It will provide both users of the complex as well as all residents a place to walk, run, bike for exercise, and a future corporation yard. In addition, each field will have 4 misting systems. The fields will be fenced and available only through reservation and rental. However, the playground and trail will not be fenced, making these amenities available to the general public. Here is an image of a single field. This will be the layout of the full-size soccer field, and smaller fields will also be lined for younger teams. Temporary or permanent lines can be added for other sports, including lacrosse, rugby, field hockey, and more. The dimensions of the large fields are 120 yards by 70 yards, with 20-foot wide spectator areas and 20-foot wide player areas along each sideline. Here you can see the outline of the full-size field. And here you see how the smaller sided fields fit into this space. The complex has been constructed to host a variety of activities. We will see youth and adult practices, games, and tournaments for a variety of sports. As we mentioned, the complex can accommodate any sport that can be played on a rectangle field. Non-sporting events desiring large outdoor spaces can be hosted at the complex as well. In our conservative estimates, we anticipate over 600,000 visitations at the soccer complex annually. It is our goal for the complex to be financially successful, and to help us to that end, we are seeking sponsors at the complex. In August of 2023, the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Department publicly promoted sponsorship opportunities for the soccer complex through print and social media, on the city's website, and through the Chamber of Commerce. Sponsorship opportunities included a complex naming rights sponsor, 2 plaza sponsors, a playground sponsor, and 10 individual field sponsors. This call for sponsors was open for 30 days, during which time staff received approximately 9 expressions of interest. Subsequent conversations with these interested parties have thus far resulted in 2 sponsorship agreements, which we are before you tonight. The first of these 2 agreements is the complex naming rights agreement with Placer Valley Tourism. Placer Valley Tourism is a business improvement district formed in 2004 with a mission to support the health of the hotel industry in Placer County by promoting the region as a tourism destination. One of City Council's priorities is to enhance economic vitality with a strategy to advance sports tourism, including the soccer complex. To this end, we can't think of a more fitting naming rights sponsor. PVT has been a valued partner of the City of Roseville for over 20 years, sharing our goals and priorities of enhancing economic vitality by advancing sports tourism in Roseville. PVT will be more than just a naming rights sponsor, but also a valued partner who will assist us in attracting regional and national events at the complex. As a result of this naming rights sponsorship, the complex name will be the Placer Valley Soccer Complex. In addition to the complex being named the Placer Valley Soccer Complex, other benefits will include sponsor branding on facility monument and entry signs and at other locations throughout the facility. Sponsor branding on the City of Roseville website, social media, collateral materials, and promotions. Sponsor use of the facility on select dates. And the sponsor will have the right to have promotional booth and select events at the complex. The term of the agreement is for 12 years for a total of $5 million. These dollars will go a long way to help us operate and maintain the complex and allow us to set aside funds for upkeep of the facility, including future turf replacement. This slide shows the payment schedule for when we will receive these sponsorship funds. You'll see that upon execution of the agreement, PVT will make their first payment of $50,000, followed by 12 annual payments. This guaranteed revenue from 2025 through 2036 will help ensure the success of the complex. Although the monument sign design isn't finalized, we wanted to provide you with an example of what the entry sign might look like at the complex. The City of Roseville will have a highly visible presence throughout the complex. The next naming rights agreement we'd like to present to you is for the plaza areas within the complex. The plaza areas will look something like this, and they are located at each end of the complex. The large building in each plaza is the restroom building. In the North Plaza, the smaller building will include concessions, plus an officials room and a tournament check-in space. The South Plaza mirrors the same amenities as the North Plaza, except the smaller building in the South Plaza will provide concessions and a workspace for Parks, Recreation, and Library staff. The blue square represents the relative location of the plaza directional sign. This will be a 2-sided sign. On the left side of the rendering are shaded picnic areas, and at the end of the plaza, we envision an area where teams can take their photo with a brand Instagrammable art piece. And that's reflected in the yellow circle. This is just one more amenity that is unique to our facility, providing visitors a great memory of their experience in Roseville. This graphic shows the location of the plaza areas within the entire complex. The plaza naming rights sponsorship agreement before you tonight is with the Roseville Auto Mall. The Roseville Auto Mall is a new and used car dealership located in Roseville with 16 car dealerships. Roseville Auto Mall continually participates in community outreach in the Sacramento and Placer regions. Their leadership with charitable organizations, youth groups, and nonprofit companies has become a hallmark and inspiration for local giving. The Roseville Auto Mall has partnered with many local charitable organizations such as the Operation Care Package, the Placer Food Bank, Stand Up Placer, the Taylor House, and the Roseville Firefighters. We would be proud to have the Roseville Auto Mall name associated with the soccer complex, and as a result, the names of the plaza areas would be the Roseville Auto Mall South Plaza and the Roseville Auto Mall North Plaza. As previously mentioned, the two plaza areas called the Roseville Auto Mall North and South Plazas. Additional sponsorship benefits include sponsor branding on plaza entry and directional signage, sponsor branding on the City of Roseville website, social media, collateral, materials, and promotions, and the sponsor to display 2 vehicles at the complex plaza areas. The Roseville Auto Mall shall be solely responsible for the care and maintenance of its vehicles on display. The term of this agreement shall commence upon the date of execution through December 31st, 2028. This term is intended to cover the first 3 years of the complex operation, assuming a hard opening date of January 1st, 2026. The Roseville Auto Mall will pay $40,000 per year for these plaza naming rights for a total sponsorship fee of $120,000. Again, sign designs aren't finalized, but this is an example of what the plaza entry signage might look like at the complex with our naming rights. Before we conclude, I want to share with you and the public the current available sponsorship opportunities at the Placer Valley Soccer Complex. We have 10 individual field sponsors available. This sponsorship provides a large banner at the sponsor's designated field facing outward towards the spine of the complex. The top photo on this slide is just an example showing what similar field sponsorship signage looks like at another complex. Individual field sponsorships are $6,000 per year with a minimum 3-year agreement. We're also seeking a universally accessible playground sponsor. This playground will be open to the public, provide another great amenity for our Roseville residents as well as complex visitors. This playground will provide elements for children of all abilities, including those who are in a wheelchair or other physical disabilities, those who are hearing impaired or visually impaired, those who have sensory disorders, children on the autism spectrum, and more. The playground will be surrounded by fencing so that children can play safely and parents can feel secure that their children are in an enclosed space. And again, as I mentioned previously, this playground will be open to residents even when the soccer fields are not in use. This playground sponsorship is priced at $25,000 per year with a minimum 3-year agreement.
To ensure the continued high quality of this complex, we realize there will be capital needs in the years ahead, including replacement of the artificial turf in approximately 8 to 10 years. We've established a soccer complex capital fund into which we will pay funds each year to support these large future purchases. We will receive our first sponsorship payments from the 2 sponsorships we've presented tonight upon execution of these sponsorship agreements. And as mentioned previously in the presentation, these initial payments are $50,000 from PVT and $10,000 from the Roseville Auto Mall. So tonight, we're also requesting a budget adjustment in order to place these funds into the Soccer Complex Capital Fund. So here are the requests before you tonight. Per Agenda Item 8.1, we request that you approve the agreement with Placer Valley Tourism as the complex naming rights sponsor for a term of 12 years and payment to the city totaling $5 million, along with the other sponsorship benefits outlined in the agreement, and to adopt an ordinance to approve a budget adjustment for $50,000 to increase the fund balance in the new soccer complex capital fund. And per Agenda Item 8.2, we request your approval of the agreement with the Roseville Auto Mall as the plaza sponsor of the complex for a term of 3 years and payment to the city totaling $120,000, along with the other sponsorship benefits outlined in the agreement. And to adopt an ordinance to approve a budget adjustment for $10,000 to increase the fund balance in the new soccer complex capital fund. This concludes our presentation. We're pleased to have representatives from both Placer Valley Tourism and the Roseville Auto Mall in the audience tonight, and we appreciate their attendance and their support. So at this time, we'll welcome any questions you might have.
Council, any questions?
I had two. I just was curious, the field sponsorship, and I saw like the signs out there. Who maintains them, like if they start to,
That will be us. We will maintain all the signage throughout the facility.
okay, so somebody will, it will be
Yes,
taken care.
absolutely.
And then another question, at the entrances, they said that there'd be 2 cars at the entrance. Is that just during the games, or is it all at 24/7, or?
Yeah, so the idea is to have 2 cars within the complex inside the plaza in both the north and south plazas. And the idea is those cars will be there exclusively 24/7.
But it's in the complex
In
and
the
it'll be
complex.
enclosed, so,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
thank you.
Great. Other questions?
Jeff, you talked about the various sports that could be played there in addition to soccer. So can you talk about how soccer got into the name for PVT, soccer complex versus like sports complex?
Sure. About a year ago, the council named the complex the Roseville Soccer Complex. And we had the conversation at that time whether it should be sports complex, soccer complex. And I believe the consensus was that everybody understands what a soccer field looks like. And people understand that they're rectangular fields. You could play lacrosse, rugby, quad ball, all of those sports on a soccer field. Naming it the sports complex left question, what sports? Is it volleyball? Is it basketball? It did not as clearly describe what the complex is as a soccer complex.
Thank you.
Great. Other questions? I just need clarification. So on the auto mall, is it 120,000 for the north and 120,000? It's 120,000 combined.
Total, 40,000 for the combination of each plaza per year for 3 years.
The vehicles there will be more expensive than that. Right? All right, I'm going to open it up for public comment. I welcome both PVT and the auto mall representatives to make any comments they'd like.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Kim Summers. I am the CEO of Placer Valley Tourism.
Just clarification, you're going to be speaking on item 8.1.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm with Placer Valley
Coach
Tourism.
made sure I got that clarified.
Fantastic. Hi, as I said, my name is Kim Summers. I'm the CEO of Placer Valley Tourism and At the Grounds. And I'm just here today and just really excited about this project and being the naming rights sponsor of this amazing complex to really see the city embrace the impacts of sports tourism, the hospitality industry, and to reinvest in our community. Really, it speaks volumes for your dedication. And not only will our residents really benefit year after year, but so will our businesses as well. And we can see just the impact that the Roeblen Center has had over the last few years. Just this year alone, we've already generated 18,000 room nights from that one facility for our hotels. And I know that the soccer complex is going to do great things as well. So we're just really excited, again, to have this long-term investment to keep that facility a shining star for the city. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on 8.1? Okay, 8.2.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I believe I'm speaking on 8.2. Damon Eberhardt, business manager for the Roseville Auto Mall Association. And we just want to thank you for the opportunity to continue the great public-private partnership that we've had for so many years. It's hard to believe that it's 34 years ago that the first dealership opened in the Roseville Auto Mall. And now it's the second largest auto mall in the state of California, largest in Northern California, and generating by far the most sales tax revenue for the city of any other entity in the city. And this would not have been possible without the innovative thought process of council members and city leaders in the mid-'80s who saw this as a growth opportunity and used some innovative calculations to figure out a way that the city could help finance this so that the dealers could make this happen. So it's appropriate that we continue this public-private partnership with you as we have for so many years. And as mentioned, the Auto Mall supports many organizations, but very specifically, youth and sports are top on their list. So it's just an entirely natural process for us to support this entity. So thank you for the opportunity. And I'll say that Jill and Jeff have been amazing to work with through this process. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment on either 8.1 or 8.2? All right, I'll bring it back to the council. If there aren't any additional questions, yeah, we'll do comments too. We'll do comments. I haven't forgotten. All right, I haven't forgotten. Go ahead, Councilman Albert.
Well, I remember back when Placer Valley Tourism was going to build the soccer complex, and it fell through because of the land was not, because of some natural things out in the land area. We couldn't get enough fields, and so it just didn't work out. And so they built the Roseville Center instead, and which has turned into a major blessing. And this whole process, just when you look back, it's a blessing for our city. And for the city to pick this up and do this, I think it's a big deal, and I do so appreciate PVT coming back and sponsoring, because this does help your business quite a bit. But it's also not just hotel stays, which helps the city and helps our residents through the transient occupancy tax that comes from the hotels, but just the economics alone. Having teams come in, hundreds of people come with these teams, not just players, but families and coaches and people that are friends of theirs, and eat in our restaurants and shop in our stores and buy gas and do fun things, and that all builds the economy, and it actually imports dollars into our community, which is a big deal. It's not just us spending our own money, it's outside people bringing money into our businesses, and that's huge for us. And so this is just a wonderful addition. We finally have the fields to go with a major Roseville Center building, and I'm just super excited. And thank you, Auto Mall, for coming in and helping us, because these funds are needed. Our city will ultimately all benefit from it, but we do have to maintain this complex and pay the bills to get repairs. And I appreciate the future planning. And as a resident not too far away, I appreciate that the neighborhood across the street's not going to get inundated with parking. So I'm so happy that we have, again, whole other miracles that worked out to get enough parking in that land. And we had a developer that was very gracious in helping work a deal for that too. So this is great. I'm just super excited, super jazzed, and congratulations everybody that's involved. Great for our community.
Vice Mayor Bernasconi. Okay, Councilwoman Rakucci.
I echo the same feeling. Roseville's a sports city. A lot of things that we do for children, and we have a lot of kids that our own local kids who go to Roseville and do competitive sports there. I have a granddaughter who does, and this is going to be used not only for people who are coming from out of Roseville, but people here in Roseville as well, and people who want in Roseville who just want to go see a game. And I think this is an opportunity. And it's nice to work again with the Auto Mall. I was on council when we built the Auto Mall, so there's a special feeling about the Auto Mall. So, because they work with community, they work with kids. And I'm happy that we're doing this and looking forward to when we can actually use it and go forward.
Councilmember Mendoza.
This is, as a parent of two daughters, I spend more time than I want to count at the Roseville Center with different.
You want to spend all the time you want to spend with your kids. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about 1 or 2 more days a week from just getting a cot there and just calling it my address. But I couldn't be happier about this. This is just another example of Roseville leading the way. This is not just for us. This is a regional driver. And I think it's appropriate that our 2 naming sponsors, the Auto Mall and PVT, they're regional as well. People come from all over, to support those 2 businesses, and they're big deals, and they should be a part of this. But this didn't come on accident. This was years and years of planning, as was mentioned. And Jill and Jeff, you guys have done an amazing job. Mayor Havishelt and I went and did the tour a couple weeks ago, and even on a 102-degree day, it didn't feel that bad on the field. A little breeze would have been nice, but it was still quite pleasant on the turf. So I think this is just another example of more diversity in our portfolio, as far as a city and as a region. We're becoming more of a sports destination. We're already seeing softball teams. They come back year after year for many years. We've got more things going on at the Aquatic Center. The Roseville Center is hosting volleyball and basketball games, and we're pulling from other cities around us. And bringing that tourism here. And now with the sports complex, the soccer complex, I think it's going to round out a very diverse portfolio of activities that we already have. So I'm just very excited, and thank you to all the staff for all your hard work. It does not go unnoticed.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up where Mr. Eberhardt left off. You know, the city has long had a vision and a courage to be a leader and to do things that, you know, others dare not do, and to find a way to do them that then have long-term benefits, not just for the private aspect of it, but the public aspect of it. And, you know, the auto mall's involvement in youth and youth sports especially, you know, that started back when you were on the council, and it continues to this day. We all had an opportunity to go and see this incredible, best-in-class, state-of-the-art facility that will be a regional attraction. And, you know, Placer Valley Tourism started 20 years ago by the initiative of the city of Roseville. So it's only natural that we have this partnership with Placer Valley Tourism. You know, and again, as others have said, with our focus on sports tourism, having PVT as a title sponsor, and as I said, best in class, just only, you know, as a continuation of that partnership that benefits so many in the region, whether they're on the field or off the field. So with that, I think we're ready for two motions or one motion?
We'll do one at a
Public
time.
comment.
Okay,
Yeah.
one motion.
Public comment?
Yeah.
Oh, we did public comment already. This was our comment.
Okay, that sounds fine.
Kim got up, Damon got up, nobody else
Okay.
got up.
She just wants to engage the
I
public.
just like
right.
talking to them. It's okay.
They're here.
They're here.
Okay, with that, we'll start on item 8.1. The City Council will consider adopting Resolution Number 24347, approving a sponsorship agreement by and between the City of Roseville and South Placer County Tourism Corporation, doing business as Placer Valley Tourism, and authorizing the city manager to execute it on behalf of the City of Roseville. And also adopting ordinance number 6880, authorizing certain amendments to fiscal year 2024-25 budget. And lastly, declaring the ordinance to be immediately effective as an appropriation measure. With that, may I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor with a second. We'll start our roll call with Vice Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Councilmember Albert? Councilmember Mendoza?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
And Mayor Haldeshell?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. We'll move on to item 8.2. The City Council will consider adopting Resolution Number 24-358, approving a sponsorship agreement by and between the City of Roseville and Roseville Auto Mall Association, and authorizing the city manager to execute on behalf of the City of Roseville. Adopting ordinance number 6879, authorizing certain amendments to the fiscal year 2024-25 budget, and declaring this ordinance to be immediately effective as an appropriation measure. With that, may I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor with a second. We'll start our roll call with Vice Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Councilmember Albert.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Haldeshell.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously.
An exciting day. Exciting day. Evening. Next, we have a resolution, 9.1. For the hall to clear a little bit. California Department of Water Resources Generating Units Agreement Amendment. And we have our Assistant Utilities Director, William Forsythe, and our Director, Dan Bean. We don't have Forsythe here. We have Sean. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the back. You're on my, what? And our City Attorney's Office. All right. We'll have your presentation.
Thank you, and good evening, Honorable Mayor and Councilors. I'm Dan Beans, your Director and CEO of Roseville Electric Utility, and with me today is Sean Matcham, our Chief Operating Officer, and Joe Mandel, Senior Deputy City Attorney. Thank you for the opportunity to present our recommended amendments to our agreements with the California Department of Water Resources. For background, over 3 years ago, the City of Roseville entered into a series of agreements to site 2 generators at the Roseville Energy Park to help the state of California improve electric system reliability during energy emergencies. The generators were installed and the agreements were in place for approximately 2 years. Prior to that end of that term, council approved the First Amendment to that original agreement. The key provisions of that First Amendment included extending the agreement, eliminating the site lease revenue, and providing 2 options for Roseville's eventual ownership of the 2 units. The ownership provisions could be met over time, being completed by 2027, or could be accelerated. We opted to accelerate ownership at the best value for our customers. In order to effectuate this, we were required to apply for and be accepted into the state's Distributed Electricity Backup Assets, or DEBA, program, administered by the California Energy Commission, and entered into equipment contracts to upgrade the units. Our staff, with the support of several city departments, including the city attorney, city clerk, and city finance, and others, were able to make this happen in partnership with CDWR. 2 months after council approved the First Amendment, we applied for the DEBA grant. 4 months later, we entered into contracts for the equipment upgrades. Then in August, we were formally accepted into the DEBA program. We notified CDWR that we completed the requirements for accelerated ownership, and they accepted it without dispute. The transfer of ownership will be in effect starting in November with approval of this Second Amendment. After we applied for the DEBA grant to pursue ownership of the units at the REP, the following month, we also responded to a request for information from the CDWR to relocate up to 2 additional generators identical to the ones at the REP. Our response included siting the additional generators at our Roseville Power Plant 2 to replace the existing older units. After review, the CDWR determined that Roseville's proposal was worthy of further study. To that end, we've included language in this Second Amendment before you tonight to enter into a non-disclosure agreement to facilitate that process. So staff's recommendation for council's consideration includes finalizing ownership and title transfer of the units located at the REP from CDWR to Roseville effective November 1, 2024, initiating a due diligence study to further investigate continuing the partnership between Roseville and CDWR, and executing a non-disclosure agreement with CDWR to exchange and protect confidential information. So as I conclude my formal presentation, I would be remiss if I didn't emphasize again the excellent work led by my staff, led by Sean Matcham, with support from Bill Forsyth, Petra Wallace, Eric Campbell, Joanna Cucci, Chris Porter, Nathan Raborti, Amber Blix, and others from the Roseville Electric team, as well as significant support from Joe Mandel from the City Attorney's Office. Also, both the City Clerk's Office and the Finance Department were tremendously helpful as we advanced this project. This truly was a City of Roseville team effort and another example of how valuable great city management and oversight can be for this community. And with that, I would be happy to take any questions with help from Sean and Joe. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Questions? Councilman Albert?
When we join the CEC's Distributed Electricity Backup System, or asset as an asset, does that make us more susceptible to a forced brownout now that we're in their system?
No, council member, it doesn't. What it does, the DEBA program commits us to make the units available to the state of California during grid emergencies. And so it's in fact, just the opposite is what I would suggest. So that was really one of the key figures for us, or key elements of us to take ownership. The state did invest in these units for the purpose of improving reliability for the entire grid in California. And so as we took ownership, it was important for the state to be able to say, hey, these are still going to benefit the state of California in the foreseeable future through 2031. And so as part of that, our commitment to do that is really established the DEBA program. And so we will make these units available through the DEBA program when the state of California incurs any energy emergencies. Those typically happen obviously in the summer. So I would suggest that it does just the opposite. We're going to make sure that we maintain them, operate them, and make them available during grid emergencies.
Great. And then we get paid for, when we're producing for them in an emergency, they pay us for that.
Yeah, that's correct. So with this title transfer and this action tonight, the units become ours. We operate them. We get to take all the benefits of selling any energy from them in our markets or in the electric utility industry. We also have the ability to sell capacity or the capability of producing electricity. So all those attributes that go with owning and operating generation, they become ours now. So just like we would perhaps sell them in the wholesale market, if we make them available and they run during grid emergencies, then that revenue comes to us as well.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, other questions?
No.
And I'll open up for public comment. Close public comment, unless there are any other questions or comments, I'll ask the clerk to read the motion.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to make one comment. Dan thanked our team at Roseville Electric, and there were many folks here that have made this possible. I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge the team at the California Department of Water Resources. We've been able to build a tremendous working relationship with DWR since these units came to Roseville back in 2021. The team at DWR has changed a little over that time, but it was really a priority for us to bring these assets to Roseville and bring them into our portfolio so that we can serve our community, our residents, our businesses here in the future. And we benefited from a very good team on the other side of the table. And so I just want to acknowledge that. We consider ourselves solutions-oriented here at Roseville, and we certainly benefited from a team at DWR that had that same perspective. And so I think it was exciting to reach an arrangement here that worked for the state. It works for us, obviously. And I think that was certainly possible in no small part because of the team at DWR that we're working with. So we'll have an opportunity to work with them going forward as we look at new opportunities. But I didn't want to go through the meeting here without acknowledging that.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, because I think just like we saw with the Housing Authority, when you have a team that agency can rely on and count on and is collaborative and innovative, more opportunities come. So thank you for adding that. And with that, we'll take the motion.
Thank you. On item 9.1, the City Council will consider adopting Resolution 24-360, approving a second amended site use and installation agreement and a non-disclosure agreement between the City of Roseville and the California Department of Water Resources, and authorizing the city manager to execute them on behalf of the City of Roseville. At this time, may I please have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Second, thank you. We have a motion on the floor with a second. We'll start a roll call with Vice Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci. And Mayor Haldeshelt.
Yes, thanks, congratulations. All right. Okay, we will now have a second opportunity for public comment on non-agenda items. Okay. I'll ask the city manager if he has anything to report.
I'm going to yield my time to Jill Geller, Parks, Recreation, Libraries Director, for a very important introduction.
Yep.
Thank you for yielding your time, Dom. I appreciate that. To top off a really great night already, it's my pleasure to introduce our new city librarian, Narinder Sufi. Narinder comes to Roseville with a wealth of experience. She most recently served as a development officer for Sutter County, where she developed and implemented fundraising activities for Sutter County Museum and the Sutter County Library. Narinder also served as the county librarian for Butte County for several years, and she was the deputy state librarian for the California State Library. She began her extensive library career in England before she crossed the pond to join us here in the U.S. in 2017. And in addition to managing our outstanding library system, Narinder oversees the Maidu Museum and Historic Site, and her division leads the cultural arts efforts within the city. So she's really hit the ground running. She's on week 3, and I'm very excited to have her on our team and introduce you to Narinder.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill. Mr. Mayor and the council members, I'm so glad to be here and, looking forward to doing wonderful stuff which is already happening, and hearing these 2 presentations tonight. It was great. And just excited about everything, what to come. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's a pleasure to meet you at our 88th park opening over the weekend, right? So, thank you. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. City Attorney?
Nothing from me, thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Riccucci, would you start us off with a report on any committee activities or?
Okay. I'll just a few. I think all of us had a lot of activity of meetings and things going on. And I'll pick a couple, and some of these, my fellow council members also have been on, so they can add to it. But one of them is my meeting that I went to is Placer County Flood Control and Water Conservation. That meeting was looking at in the future of areas that would be studying hydrology, different hydrology areas that have not been studied, and areas that we have studied and we've had loans with each other on it. Those are almost all paid off now, so that was good to hear. But going good and looking to make sure that areas that we understand areas in Placer County better as far as for water. And went to the Roseville Housing Authority, as we've talked about today, and 50 years of continued good work here in Roseville is great. And one thing I thought I went to, and so did some of my fellow council members. We went to Kaiser. Kaiser had what they called a topping out ceremony, and I had no idea what a topping out ceremony was. I had to look it up, and what that is, it's something that a lot of people in construction, but historic construction, they had started in Scandinavia, and what it is when you're almost done with a building, they would put like on their last beam. Nowadays it's on a steel beam. In the olden days it wasn't steel, but they would put a pine tree on one side and they'd put their flag on another side and they'd hoist it up. And the idea of it was if the pine needles started to fall off, that means your building is cured and you can go ahead and continue construction. I'm not sure if that was 100% really true, but it sounded kind of nice. I don't know. But that's not why they did it. They did it. It was very symbolic that Kaiser has been in with the expansion. It's not like at the end, not done yet, but it's really close. If I was just going to best guess, it's probably like 75 or 80%. And if you go in the area off Douglas, you can see the huge crane that's moving things around. You think it's one of our art features. It's so big and actually kind of pretty. But to be able to see them hoist it up, and they had all their employees, all the workers who've been working all these years literally on it there, and a lot of community, and watch it go up. Got to sign it, and it's just, to me, as a registered nurse looking at possibilities of expansion for an intensive care emergency room, regular rooms, the availability for what it can help our community is endless. It adds to our other medical facilities we have, but what we have in Roseville is just really good for safety for our community. That's it, Mayor.
Yeah. Councilmember Mendoza.
Thank you, Mayor. No committee updates to speak of. Just wanted to let our residents know that if you have your ballots, it is voting season, and would like to drop them off. The city does have a secure ballot box right outside the Civic Center, right outside these doors here. So if you wish to utilize that will be up obviously through midnight on, through election day, excuse me. And it is a secure ballot box and is emptied regularly. So thank you.
Hey, Councilman Albert?
Yeah, as the only council member terming out at the end of the year, I'm starting to experience my series of last meetings. So I had my last Placer County Air Pollution Control District meeting. Totally uneventful though, so nothing to report about it. All of us attended, or many of us attended, most of us attended the GFX conference, which was pretty exciting to watch a lot of successful businesses and startup businesses and listen to speakers, including people from our city. Just a good conference about economics and business and people teaming together and or the businesses working together for success, and very uplifting. We also attended a a boards and commissions dinner. We have a lot of people in our community that volunteer lots of time to serve on all kinds of boards and commissions for our city. And they don't get paid anything. It's just total service. And so every year we try to have a nice dinner and thank them for what they do and celebrate some that are terming out of their service or leaving. And so we had a Topgolf dinner, and it was nice to celebrate with the people that serve our city. Another thing that, I live on the west side of town, and we have a lot of development, lots and lots and lots of development. And houses tend to go in first, and the roads kind of lag a little bit. And we celebrate silly things like roads getting connected and traffic lights going in. And we just recently had a traffic light that got put in. It was a big intersection at Blue Oaks and Hayden, and we had a stop sign there, or a four-way stop. And kids cross that road all the time. And during the school mornings, if you accidentally go that way and you're not taking a kid to school, you could be backed up 25, 50 cars deep trying to get through that intersection. It's horrible. It was really horrible. And now there's a traffic light. And it's just a simple little thing like a traffic light. But man, traffic flows through there. It is so nice. And the community is very, very excited about it. And I got to share, right after the lights went up, there was a report by somebody about a left turn going so fast they couldn't get very many cars through it. And the staff were right on it and fixed it that same day, just right away. I thought that kind of service is really appreciated and valuable. And I kind of a dumb little thing, but it was important to people, and it was nice that they were just on it. And they were able to use the traffic camera to verify that the traffic going, they even have to go out on site and do it remotely. Great technology we have in our city. So I just thought I'd share that. Thank you for the city staff for making our community safer and responding really fast to residents. So thanks.
All right, Vice Mayor Bernasconi, I know
I don't have anything to add, just happy to be here.
you want me to report some things for you.
I think
just to save your voice. All right. I'll do this in the form of talking points. SACOG board tomorrow. Leadership Roseville, city manager, and I will be there for the kickoff of the new leadership class for the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Councilwoman Rakucci, for talking about the topping off. Placer Valley 2024 is Friday. I love bacon. Did we do a run in between here? Well, our pal did something. We had the Bacon and Brew Fest. That was great. Thank you, Councilman Albert, for mentioning the boards and commissions dinner. This is bittersweet, right? So last week, we were hoping that we would hear that we won the gold medal, but as we talked about Friday, to be one of 4 communities out of so many, we don't know how many, that were recognized for our Parks and Recreation was truly an honor. I use the analogy of the Buffalo Bills, who, went to a lot of Super Bowls but never won them. So anyway, there's that. GFX, one of the interesting things there was a conversation about the arts economy. Last night, thank you, Councilwoman Rakucci, for joining and bringing Phoebe Astle. Monks is celebrating their 10th anniversary. They began last night with a trivia contest. 10 years of trivia about Monk Cellar and 115 years of trivia about the city of Roseville. I think we did pretty well on the Roseville history, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, a couple
Not too much on the beer. It was kind of hard.
Yeah. And not not the employees that have been there forever. And speaking of beer, on October 30th, I and Doug Wageman will be doing a Pints for Paws fundraiser on behalf of Placer SPCA. So with that, I think that wraps us up, and we are adjourned till November 6th.